Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Sapna Dadwal. I'm working as a professor in the Department of Management at St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. This is lecture number 2 of Fundamental of Management from Unit 1. The topic I'm going to cover in this lecture are financial planning. I'm going to discuss definition, objectives and importance of financial planning. Then I'm going to discuss tool of financial planning. The next topic we are going to discuss is working capital definition, then factors affecting requirement of working capital. So I'm starting with first, that is definition of financial planning. Financial planning is the process of estimating the capital requirement and determining its competition. It is the process of framing financial policies in relation to procurement, investment, and administration of funds of an enterprise or organization. Now, objectives of financial planning. Financial planning has got many objectives to look forward to. These objectives are as under, discussed as are under. The first one is determining capital requirement. So, this is the first and very important objective of financial planning. And this objective depends upon the factors like cost of current and fixed asset, promotional expenses, and long range planning. So capital requirements have to be looked with both aspects, short term and long term requirement. Then second is determining capital structure. This is the second objective. First we have to determine the capital structure. The capital structure is the composition of capital, that is the relative kind and proportion of capital required in the business. This includes decision of debt equity ratio, both short term and long term. Then next is framing financial policies. The next objective is to frame financial policies with regard to cash control, borrowing, lending of money from the banks or different sources. So we have to frame policies regarding this. Then next is to ensure maximum utilization of financial resources. A finance manager ensures that scarce financial resources are maximally utilized in the best possible manner, at least cost, in order to get maximum return on the investment. So this is very important. This is very important objective of financial planning, that all the scarce financial resources of the organization must be utilized optimally by the different department of the organization. So finance manager has to ensure that all the departments are utilizing the finances of the organization properly. So these are the objectives. Now the next topic is importance of financial planning. Financial planning is the process of framing objective policies, procedures, programs, and budgets regarding the financial activities of concern. This ensures effective and adequate financial and investment policies. The importance can be outlined as adequate funds have to be ensured. Financial planning helps in ensuring a reasonable balance between outflow and inflow of funds so that stability is maintained. Financial planning ensures that the suppliers of the funds are easily investing in companies which exercise financial planning. So financial planning helps in making growth and expansion programs, which helps in long run survival of the company. Financial planning reduces uncertainties with regard to changing market trends, which can be faced easily through enough funds. Financial planning helps in reducing the uncertainty which can be hindrance to the growth of the company. This helps in ensuring stability and profitability of the organization. So these are the importances of the financial planning. Ensuring reasonable balance between outflow and inflow, ensures suppliers must continue investment in the organization. So financial planning helps in growth and expansion of the organization. Financial planning reduces uncertainties. Financial planning reduces hindrance to the growth of the organization. Now the next topic is characteristics of a sound financial plan. A financial manager should consider the following factors while finalizing a financial plan. First factor is simplicity. A financial plan should be so simple that it may be easily understood even by a layman. A complicated financial structure creates complications and confusion. So it is also easy to work out a simple financial plan. So financial plan should be simple so that everyone in the organization can understand it. So there should not be any confusion regarding the financial plan. The second is based on clear-cut objectives. So the financial plan should be totally based on the objectives of the organization. It should aim to procure funds at lowest cost so that the profitability of the business is improved. Now the next is less dependence on outside sources. A long-term financial planning should aim to reduce dependence on outside sources of finance. So effective use of capital is as much as necessary as its procurement. The generation of own fund is the way of financial operations. There should be a proper balance between the fixed capital and the working capital. Then is flexibility. The financial plan should not be rigid. There should be a degree of flexibility so that financial plan can be adopted with a minimum of delay to meet changing conditions in the future. Flexibility in plan will be helpful in coping with the demands of the future. Next one is solvency and liquidity. Financial planning should ensure the solvency and liquidity of the enterprise. Solvency requires that short-term and long-term payments should be made on dates when these are due. The degree of liquidity to be maintained is determined by the size of the company, its age, its credit status, the nature of its operations, and the rate of turnover, etc. Then next is cost. The cost of raising capital is an important consideration in selecting a financial plan. The selection of various sources should be such that the cost burden should be minimum. As and when possible, interest-bearing security should be returned so that this burden is reduced. Then profitability. A financial plan should adjust various securities in such a way that the profitability of the enterprise is not adversely affected. The interest-bearing securities and other liabilities should be so adjusted that business is able to improve its profitability. Now the next topic is tools of financial planning. The first one is cash flow statement. This is very important tool of financial planning. The cash flow statement, one of the most important financial statement for a business is a cash flow statement. The overall purpose of cash flow statement, managing cash flow statement, is to make sure that a business has enough cash to pay current bills. The business can manage cash flow by examining a cash flow statement and cash flow projection. So cash flow statement tells the business about inflow of the cash and outflow of the cash. So by studying cash flow, the study of cash flow statement actually helps in financial planning. Second is budgeting. A budget presents what business expects to spend and earn over a specific period of time. Budgets are useful for planning finances and then tracking whether business is operating according to plan or not. They are also useful for projecting how much money will be needed for business initiative, for example, buying new equipment, hiring new employees, and so on. Then is Budget deviation analysis. Budget deviation analysis regularly compares what is business expected. So this also helps the financial planning. By budget deviation analysis, we can correct financial plan and also make changes in make correction in the financial planning by looking at the last deviations in the financial plan or budget in the budget deviations analysis, by looking at budget deviation analysis of the last budget. Now that is credit and collections. Yes, credit and collections also help in financial planning, because credit and collection, study of credit and collection also tells about how much money a business is going to collect and how much money a business is liable to pay to its creditors. Then analysis of cash flow tools I have already discussed. Then the next one is the monthly forecast, weekly monitoring, daily monitoring of cashes, cash collection reports also helps in financial planning. By studying all these, financial managers can plan financial planning for the next year. Now the next topic is working capital. Working capital can be understood as the capital needed by the firm to finance current assets. It represents the funds available to the enterprise to finance regular operations, like for example day-to-day business activities effectively. It is helpful in gauging the operating liquidity of the company. For example, how efficiently the company is able to cover the short-term debt with short-term assets. Now types of working capital. First is on the basis of value. On the basis of value, there are two types of working capital. The first one is gross working capital. The second one is net working capital. Gross working capital denotes the company's overall investment in the current asset, whereas net working capital implies the surplus of current asset over current liabilities. A positive net working capital shows the company's ability to cover short-term liabilities, whereas negative net working capital indicates the company's inability in fulfilling short-term obligation. Now second category is on the basis of time. So on the basis of time, the working capital can be divided into two parts again. That is temporary working capital and permanent working capital. Temporary working capital is also called as variable working capital. It is that portion of capital which is needed by the firm along with the permanent working capital to fulfill short-term working capital needs that emerge out of fluctuation in the sales volume. Then permanent working capital. The minimum amount of working capital that a company holds to carry on the operations without any interruption is called as permanent working capital. Then there are also initial working capital or regular working capital. The capital required by the promoter to initiate the business is known as initial working capital. And on the other hand, regular working capital is one that is required by the firm to carry on its operations effectively. Now the next topic is factors affecting requirement for working capital. The first one is sales. Among the various factors, size of the sales is one of the most important factors in determining the amount of working capital required by the organization. In order to increase sales volume, the enterprise needs to maintain its current asset. In the course of period, the enterprise becomes in the position to keep a steady ratio of its current asset to annual sales. So as a result, the turnover ratio, that is current asset to turnover, reduce the length of operating cycle. Thus less the operating cycle period, less will be required for working capital and vice versa. So in the beginning, it may be possible the company may require a more working capital, but as the time passes, as the company progress, maybe after some years, the requirement of working capital may be reduced, and the requirement of the working capital also depends upon the operating cycle of the business. Operating cycle is when you sold goods and how much time that value of the goods coming or sales is coming back to the business. So less the operating cycle, less the requirement of working capital is required by the business. Now second is length of operating cycle. We have already discussed. Conversion of cash through various stages is called as operating. Raw materials, semi-processed goods, finished goods, sales, debtors, bills receivable into cash takes a certain period of time. That is known as length of operating cycle. So longer the operating cycle, the more is working capital required. For example, having engineering need relatively more working capital than a rice mill, a cotton spinning mill, or steel rolling mill. Thus, it follows that depending upon the length of working cycle, the requirement for working capital varies from enterprise to enterprise. So, length of the work operating cycle is important in determining the requirement of working capital. Then next is nature of business. The requirement of working capital also varies among the enterprise depending upon the nature of business. For instance, trading companies require more capital than manufacturing companies. This is because that the trading companies require large quantity of goods to be held in stock and also carry large amount of working capital than manufacturing concern. Now, terms of credit. Another important factor that determine amount of working capital is requirement relate to the term of credit allowed to the customers. For example, an enterprise may allow 15 days credit while other may allow 90 days credit to its customers. So 15 day the requirement for the firm requirement of the requirement of capital will be less for the firm who's allowing 15 days credit as comparison to the firm who's allowing 90 days credit to its customers. Next is seasonal variations. The seasonal enterprises, that is, for example, the enterprise whose operations pick up seasonally may require more working capital to meet their increased operations during a particular season. A popular example of seasonal enterprise may be sugar factory whose operations are highly seasonal. The next one is turnover of inventories. If inventories are large in size but turnover is slow, the small scale enterprise will need more working capital. On the contrary, if inventories are small but their turnover is quick, the enterprise will need a small amount of working capital. Then next is nature of production technology. In case of labor intensive technology, the unit will need more amount to pay the wages and therefore will require more working capital. On the other hand, if the production technology is capital intensive, the enterprise will have to make less payment for expenses like wages. As a result, enterprise will require less working capital. Then next is contingencies. If the demand for and price of the product of small scale enterprises are subject to wide fluctuations, the contingency provisions will have to be made for meeting the fluctuation. This will obviously increase the requirement of working capital of the small scale enterprises. Now the next topic is sources of working capital. The sources are funds from business operations, other income such as in the form of dividend, transfer fee, donations, interest from investment made in other companies, Then sales of non-current assets such as useless and obsolete plant and machinery. Then long-term borrowings, issue of additional equity capital or preference share capital. These are all sources of working capital. If any query is there, these are the questions which are related to the above topic. If any query is there, please do contact me. Thank you so much.